Yellowstone didn't revive the Western genre on TV, it killed it completely. While plenty of people have praised Taylor Sheridan's Yellowstone for reviving the Western genre on TV, the truth is, it didn't revive it at all. It may have actually killed it. With a glut of content across network, cable, and the myriad number of streaming platforms out there, it's hard for any show to truly break out in a big way. Plenty of shows are temporary flashes in the pan, but have little lasting impact. It's even rarer that show spawns multiple spin-offs, as Taylor Sheridan's Yellowstone did, becoming an entire universe. There are a few mega-producers working in TV who have created sprawling universes, whose names immediately come to mind: Dick Wolf, Shonda Rhimes, Greg Berlanti, Ryan Murphy, etc. Taylor Sheridan is now one of those names, with everything he touches seemingly turning to gold. With that success, Sheridan has been anointed the new king of the neo-Western genre. But while it's fair to give him his flowers, it's not quite fair or correct to say he's saved the TV Western. The Western genre has been successful in past decades, but mostly in movies. There have been some fantastic Westerns in the 21st century. The Western genre may have been thriving on the big screen for the past few decades. Since the turn of the millennium, the genre has experienced a bit of a revival, with several Western movies, both period pieces and more modern-day retellings, seeing resounding success, whether critically, commercially, or both. Among others, those movies released since the turn of the century include. The list is far longer. But those films are just a smattering of modern movies that have successfully reinvigorated, and, in some cases, reinvented the Western genre on the big screen. While the genre may not be the powerhouse it was in the glorious golden age of Westerns of the 50s and 60s, it's hardly disappeared. And when a movie in the genre is released, whether theatrically or on streaming, it tends to do well. The Western genre on TV had been struggling for decades until Yellowstone brought it mainstream. The Western genre on TV, on the other hand, has had a much greater struggle to revitalize itself in the past few decades. It, like movies, had a golden age on TV through the 50s and 60s, with classic Western shows that still hold up today like Bonanza, The Lone Ranger, Gunsmoke, and Rawhide, among others. Huge Western stars of older eras also transitioned to TV at that time to great success, such as Gene Autry and Roy Rogers. By the late 1960s, however, there were no new Western TV shows being greenlit, and by the early 1970s, they were done. A Vietnam War-era American audience just wasn't interested in the seemingly old-fashioned genre. Since then, the Western genre has struggled to reinvent itself for the TV medium in a way the Western has never had an issue with in movies. There are far fewer pure Western offerings in that medium in this century. Deadwood, Longmire, Justified, and Hell on Wheels come to mind. Possibly a few others. The rest, however good they might be, are not true Westerns, but other genres blended with the trappings of a Western. Yellowstone seemingly changed that. Taylor Sheridan's show has been a juggernaut since it premiered in 2018 and put the TV Western back on the map. Its ratings were through the roof, and it became a rare water-cooler sort of show that created buzz and conversation after each episode. Yellowstone's pop culture impact was so immediate that it actually created a huge influx of wealthy people moving to Montana, which in itself became a problem for the residents in and around Yellowstone via CNBC. The Western, it appeared, was back, except it wasn't. Yellowstone isn't really a Western. It's a drama like the aforementioned shows that are Western adjacent. Yellowstone isn't actually a Western. Instead, it's a drama. Yellowstone's story beats are firmly rooted in the family melodrama, specifically the gangster drama in the vein of the Dallas of old. A closer modern equivalent would be Succession. Narratively, Yellowstone is far closer to Succession than to Longmire. It's closer to The Godfather than to Gunsmoke, the family infighting over an empire and a legacy, with rivalries, alliances, and betrayals forming the core of the series. That's a melodrama, not a Western. Narratively, Yellowstone is far closer to Succession than to Longmire. It's closer to The Godfather than to Gunsmoke. That's not to say that Yellowstone isn't great, or that it doesn't include definite elements of the Western genre. For starters, the Montana setting is classic Western iconography. The rolling plains, the mountains, the horses, the wide open spaces. It's the landscape we think of when we think of the classic Western. That landscape being encroached upon by increasing industrialization and a nature-based way of life being slowly pushed out by dubious progress, and the advancement of the modern era is also a theme that can be found in the Western genre. The inclusion of Native Americans in opposition to the white man, particularly the dubious treatment they receive, is also a theme that underpins Westerns. In the case of the classic genre, Native Americans have been maligned as the other, as savages, Indians, and other pejorative terms used to frame Native American and indigenous people of the American West as violent and primitive people standing in the way of rightful white expansion.